Welcome to the presentation on waste disposal. Due to rapid urbanization, the generation of waste has increased multifold. The need of the hour is to educate and establish a system of waste disposal and its management to safeguard the environment. The broad objective of studying this lesson are to describe waste management, to describe the ways to dispose the waste, and how to recycle the generated waste in proper way. Before learning in detail about waste disposal, let us try to define what is waste. Waste, it is any unwanted, undesirable, discarded or intend to be discarded material left over after the completion of certain process. Waste can also be denoted as rubbish, garbage or junk. The type of wastes are municipal or metropolitan solid waste, commercial marketing waste, harmful waste and food processing waste. Vast quantities of waste are generated in hospitality industry, posing a major concern and worry for its safe disposal. Improper waste pollutes the environment to a greater extent. Just to give an overview on this module, waste is disposal in one area and which is key to maintaining environmental balance. Waste is generated by households, industries, hotels, hospitals, etc. Waste management program can help to save the cost involved in waste disposal and conserving the resources. Waste management program considers two aspects, that are waste minimization and the waste disposal. The first type of waste that we are going to study is food waste. This includes the waste generated during the production of any dish, excessive food leftover, etc. The food that is thrown away or cannot be consumed for consumption in large quantities in food sectors is called food waste or food loss. Food wastage occurs during processing, production or preparation, trading or during ingesting. Management of food waste should begin at every stage of food operation, right from the process of purchasing till the end of selling the finished goods. Now, let's see the difference between food loss and food waste. Food loss is defined as the decrease in edible part of food during processing, production and in post-harvest stage, whereas food waste on the other hand is defined as the loss of food that occurs during several stages, right from marketing to final consumption of the finished good due to the behavior of consumers or it may be retailers. The food waste can be classified into three categories such as solid, liquid and gaseous. In food industry, wastes must be disposed of regularly and efficiently to prevent contamination of any food product. Wastes arising from catering establishment are broadly classified into three types, that is solid waste, liquid waste, gaseous waste, as we have seen earlier. Solid waste in the form of refuse and garbage are the major waste which arises from the catering industry. They pose a very big problem in disposal to the caterer. Liquid wastes are normally disposed through sewers provided by the municipality in towns and in cities too. Whereas the gaseous wastes are expelled into the atmosphere where they get diluted by diffusion and air currents. Solid waste can be subdivided into biodegradable and non-biodegradable. Now, let's look at how they are handled, converted, recycled and disposed. Solid waste includes solid portions of the discarded material such as glass bottles, crockeries, plastic containers, metals and other wastes. Solid waste should be preferably be sorted into biodegradable and non-biodegradable wastes and sorted separately. They should be stored also separately. The biodegradable solid wastes are agricultural wastes, food wastes, papers, byproducts of food processing, manure, yard wastes, etc. They may be compacted or concentrated before disposal. Agricultural wastes can be used as feed or can be used as fertilizers after appropriate treatment. Garbage or swill is the waste matter resulting from the preparation, cooking and consumption of food. It includes all inedible, useless scraps of food which need to be disposed of. Waste matter from preparation process will include vegetable and fruit peels, trimmings, rotten foodstuffs and split foods. Sometimes leftover food after serving is considered as waste. Refuse refers to any waste material, either non-food or swill. Non-food waste from the kitchen include all type of cans, bottles, paper bags, polythene bags, lids, cardboard, cartons and waste from service units such as paper napkins and straws also contribute significantly to overall solid waste matter. Some of the non-food items are non-biodegradable. Let us discuss the various steps and methods involved in the disposal of solid waste and the ill effects if the disposal is not done properly. The hygienic disposal of waste matter or waste material is extremely important in the control of pests. The accumulation of food waste and greasy or sticky paper may attract the rats and mice and be the breeding place for many insects. The waste should be kept in tightly covered bins or plastic sacks during its immediate accumulation at places inside the building. For example, it can be tied and kept in the service rooms. The bins and sacks should be removed by the housekeeping staff to the main area so that will be collected outside the building from where they will be removed by the local authorities. Rats and mice make nests in the stored paper, boxes, old linen and similar articles. Any accumulation of this should be removed from time to time to ensure the rodents are not making nest in that particular place. The contents of the waste paper bins should be collected in a paper plastic sacks, while those of ashtrays should be collected separately in some type of bins because it may have fire risk. Later, both type of waste will be taken to the main waste collection area outside the building and then it is discarded. Liquid wastes are wastes which are collected from the sinks, baths and lavatory basins that are taken by a system of pipes into the house drain and from there to the sewer. After emptying a sink full of dirty water, sufficient clean water should be run so that the trap below the sink contains clean water. Kitchen waste consists of various materials and in large establishments, bones, fats, articles made with glass, etc. are often kept separate from the ordinary food waste and sometimes they are sold. Food waste may also be sold as food for the pigs. After the garbage is collected, it should be discarded in proper way without creating any trouble to the society. Nowadays, due to increase in population and standard of living of the people, there is an increasing accumulation of food products in all the areas. Waste from food establishment is of biodegradable and it should be disposed in proper manner because it is highly perishable and paves the way for the growth of microorganisms with foul odors. So, one should understand the way of proper disposal of waste. Before selecting the method of waste disposal, it is compulsory to understand the value of waste matter and the problems arising due to it if it is not disposed in the correct manner. The methods of disposing garbage may be broadly classified and it is given in this slide. The first one, it is landfilling. Landfilling, it is also known as dumping. It is a site for the disposal of waste materials by burial and it is the oldest form of waste treatment. Historically, landfills have been the most common method of organized waste disposal and remain so in many places around the world. Some landfills are also used for waste management purpose such as temporary storage, consolidation and transfer or processing of waste material like sorting, treatment and for recycling. One of the easier but not so healthy way of disposal is by dumping the waste in low-lying areas. There are possibilities of spreads of bacteria and risk for underground water pollution, etc. The easiest method of disposing waste, which is commonly in practice, is disposing the garbage in low-lying area or dumping it inside a pit. This makes the bacteria to decompose the waste and reduce its actual volume. However, there are some demerits of this method of disposal like wind depresses the thin debris, flies and rodents feed on the garbage and pave a way for infection, looks unpleasant and final product it will have some bad odor. Dumping in low-lying areas may prone to pollution of underground water. Another form of disposal is burial. This is done for smaller quantity of garbage. Like dumping, burial is another method of disposing waste where dumping is used for disposing large volume of waste and burial is used for disposing small volume of waste. The time taken for the complete decomposition of buried organic matter to harmless mass is about 6 months. Food service establishment that set up on temporary basis could dispose the garbage using this method. Allowing the waste to decompose through a sequence of steps is called composting. Composting is another way of disposing waste where the garbage is collected in a sewage tank and the solid particles settle at the bottom of the tank. Nitrogen and phosphorus are highly concentrated in the animal and plant waste which should be returned back to the soil by this method. Waste is decomposed by fungi and bacteria, enabling the nutrient-rich compost to be formed which can be utilized as fertilizers for the soil. This process of composting occurs several days at 60 degrees with the formation of carbon dioxide, water and heat. The disease-causing larvae and eggs of the flies are completely destroyed by this process. The process of burning the garbage is called incineration. One of the main disadvantages of this is air pollution. Incineration is the process of converting large volume of garbage into ashes by burning. This method is practiced when the rate of landfilling is high and the burning of trash is done in the specially built incinerator, which is a tall enough with sufficient supply of air for efficient burning. The incinerator should be checked for proper working condition before the start of the process to avoid accidents. Compared to other method of waste disposal, incineration is safe and hygienic to use. Now, let's see some other disadvantages of incineration method apart from air pollution. Refuse does not burn properly. Too much offensive smoke is produced, which in turn pollutes the air. Organic nitrogen, which could have been returned to the soil, is converted into inorganic nitrogen and it is returned to the atmosphere. This method cannot be used during the rainy season or if the garbage is wet. Although incineration is ideal from the sanitary point of view, it is costly and compared to other methods. Moreover, the cost of fuel and fertilizer value of the waste is lost. Any presence of fine ash makes the burning difficult and therefore dust or ash should be stored separately. In this method, no manure is formed. The volume of garbage is reduced to 1/4 to its original weight. The residue is a mass of hard material. It is called clinkers and it is used for road making. The cost of transporting refuse is minimized. This is one of the best methods of garbage disposal. Apart from incineration, there are machines which will help to compact and reduce the volume of garbage so that it can be handled and disposed easily. One of this is mechanical disposers, which includes pulpers or disintegrators and mechanical compactors. These can be installed in catering establishment and are used because they help in reducing the volume of garbage and the number of garbage bins required. These methods require an access to drain water or for cleaning and power source. This pulpers grinds the food particles down to tiny bits. The pulpers or disintegrators grinds the food waste into tiny particles, then it is flushed in the water. With the machines is switched on, the waste from the sink drops into the pulpers and gets finely cut. It is flushed into the kitchen drain and disposed of along with the sewage. The ordinary drainage system can dispose soft refuse like vegetables and fruit trimmings, peels, soft bones and meat trimmings. If any solid waste remains, they have to be pulled out and discarded along with the refuse. The advantages of this is, this machine is useful because it helps in preventing accumulation of solid and wet garbage which would otherwise decay very quickly and help to prevent contamination of the prepared food in the kitchen. There is one more method called garbage disposal machine method. In this is the latest way of disposing kitchen waste. As soon as it is produced is through an automatic garbage disposal machine. This is also the quickest and most hygienic way of garbage disposal. These machines are fitted under the existing sink or may be purchased as a self-contained unit. Now we'll move on to pyrolysis. This is the method of burying waste in the absence of oxygen or air. The process reduces the volume of the waste and produces a stable end products. And the next one, it is biogas technology. Biogas technology is the process of getting the waste to be decomposed by passing biogas in the absence of air. The organic matter present in the solid waste is decomposed by bacteria in the absence of air, that it is done in anaerobic condition by passing biogas in a biogas digester. The approximate composition of biogas is 60% methane and 40% carbon dioxide. For better yield of biogas, the organic solid waste may be mixed with poultry waste, grass, leaves, straw, kitchen wastes, etc. Now, let's study the impact of improper waste management on health. It creates air, water and solid pollution. Solid waste created the ideal atmosphere for insects to breed and spread infection during the rainy season. Generation of greenhouse gases from the organic waste in the landfills. Spread of decay diseases like cholera and dengue by rodents and insects from the waste. Health issues such as infections to lungs, nose and throat due to inhalation of the air from the disposed waste. Immune system gets altered, causing allergy and asthma. Pollution load will be higher due to improper disposal of solid waste. Waste generation and its management is very important phenomena in the urbanized environment. To conclude, improper waste disposal is the biggest concern for urban Indians. For efficient waste management in our country, there should be some changes brought to the national policy. Instead of bringing the policy changes after the damage of public, it should be thought at the beginning to save the country from serious health effects. Proper waste disposal system should be practiced in all parts of the country to prevent serious infections and metabolic diseases caused by the constant exposure of waste. If the solid wastes are recycled properly, the hazardous effects of waste to the human beings can be reduced, and at the same time it can bring revenue to our country. Government should take measure to educate our citizens on waste management and the knowledge on biodegradable and non-degradable wastes and its methods to segregate them for the safe disposal. Thank you.